So gravity is the attractive forces between two objects. So the larger the object, the more stuff it has, is going to attract the smaller objects. So for example, between the Earth and the Earth has more mass than the Moon. So that is why the Moon orbits the Earth. The Sun is the largest celestial object in our universe, and so everything orbits it. The reason why the moons orbit the planets and not just the sun is that the moons are closer to those bigger bodies of the planets, and so they're attracted more. The strength of the gravitational force of gravity between two objects depends on just two things: mass, how much stuff it has, and the distance between them. The more stuff you have, the greater the mass, the greater the gravity. The closer two objects are, the greater the gravity also. So the closer you are, higher gravity. The further apart you are apart from each other, the less of the gravitational force exists. All matter has gravity. So if it is made of anything, it has gravity. The table your paper is on top of right now, it is matter. It has gravity. The chair you're sitting in, it has stuff. It has matter. It has gravity. You are matter. You have matter and you also have gravity. The difference is that how much stuff you have is so small that your gravitational force is almost non-existent. So that's why you don't have anything orbiting around you. This is where there's some misconceptions that gravity pulls down on objects. If that was the case, we would all be heading towards the South Pole and falling off. So gravity does not pull down, it pulls toward the center of the object. So the gravity on Earth pulls towards the center of the Earth, which is why no matter where on Earth you are, your feet are on land and not upside down. Mass is a word we are going to need to know, and it's going to come back at the end of the year again. So mass is the amount of matter or stuff in an object. Mass does not change. So for an example, an elephant has a lot of mass. It has the same amount of mass no matter what zoo it's at. If it's at the African safari, or if we took it to the moon, it still is made up of the same amount of stuff, which is mass. A bee has very little mass compared to an elephant, and again, a bee has the same amount of mass, whether it be in the classroom, in the house, on a flower, flying in your car, or in space. It has the same amount of mass no matter where it is because it is made up of the same stuff. That does not change. So this is where it gets a little bit complicated and it's going to get wonky in your head. So all objects are attracted towards each other. No matter what, they want to go towards each other. When mass increases, the force of gravity increases. So those are two things that go together. When mass decreases, the force of gravity decreases. Then distance, the further apart you get, so if distance is increased, the force of gravity decreases. But if distance decreases, they get closer together, gravity increases. This is one of those things that's going to be hard. And so we are going to talk about it a lot, but it's one of those concepts that you have to practice, you're going to have to quiz yourself on. And we're going to do some coloring also just to help us out a little bit. The solar system appears to have formed from a disk of dust and gas and was drawn together by gravity. So if you think about it, you start off with a couple pieces, and that pulls in stuff. And as it has more stuff, more mass, its gravitational force increases. So it's going to pull in more matter. As it pulls in more matter, the mass increases. So its gravitational forces increases. So it draws in more. It's one of those things that once the snowball gets rolling, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger.